Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Infinite Snap podcast. I'm one of your hosts, ShadowDTV, also known as Richie. We've got my boy Justin here as always. How you doing, Justin?
Really good today. Finished work, so it's full time into Marvel Snap.
Hey, that's good. You're just a full-time Marvel Snap player for the next few weeks or so. So well, that's good. That's good news. Have you been playing much with new cards yet?
New cards, as in
I know you.
series.
Yeah, like you had Thanos, and I think you had Bast, and
I've been playing a Devil Dino deck. I can explain it later, and it's got a spicy Agent Coulson in it. Which works well. Everyone star emojis that card when they see it, which is pretty cool because no one uses the card emojis.
Yeah, bad. I didn't realize they were a thing for it's not explained anywhere. I don't think anyone kind of really knows that it exists.
Not really. I only really see it when like a series 4 or 5 card come up and then someone will react to it or something.
Yeah, it's so great. All right, guys. So a bunch of stuff to get through. We had featured locations this week. 2 new cards have, I believe they've already released. If not, they're just about to. I'm pretty sure they come out like on the reset at, well, for us, it's like 2 p.m. But I believe they've already dropped. The thing is, it's hard to tell because we don't actually see the cards. Like, it's not like, hey, here, buy the card. It's like maybe appears in the token shop. But we've got 2 new cards to talk about. The Sentry and Darkhawk. So we're going to go through them, ways you can use them, I guess how you get them as well. They will be in Pool 5. We're going to talk about some cards that may or may not need to be buffed/nerfed. We will get to that eventually. I don't want to give anything away, but I wonder if chat can guess what some specific things we're going to speak about. There was an updated development roadmap that dropped. We're heading into 2023. Second Dinner are going to be going on a bit of a break, so we're going to go through that and see what's ahead for Marvel Snap's future. New bundle came out. We're going to discuss a little bit more about the bundles and I guess the value in them. And of course, we're going to play Snap Who, everybody's favorite Marvel Snap quiz. I've got a location for Justin to try and guess today. We'll see how he goes to round out the year, I guess. And then we're gonna discuss about Second Dinner going on a break. They're gonna have a bit of time off, which is great. That's why we had 2 cards drop instead of 1, just to make up for the time off that they're gonna be having. Well deserved, I must say. I've been working on this game for a long time. We've been having a ton of fun with it, and they've been doing a ton of work. So, very, very good that everyone gets a break. We get a break. We get to play Marvel Snap, and the team at Second Dinner also get to have a break. All right, let's run that intro and get straight into it. All right, so chat's already making me laugh. Guys, we do live stream the podcast on YouTube. Drugor said, "Wait, card emotes?" ? Which is quite funny because there are card emotes. It was kind of like, I feel like it was hinted in it was explained in an update at some point, and just everyone ignored it because no one understood it.
I think it was on the roadmap, if I'm not mistaken, the previous roadmap.
Yes,
I think we even made some comments about it.
What the heck is this?
And then they just snuck it into the game.
Yeah.
They don't explain anything. They don't tell you what's there. It's just go for it.
It was a while ago, and I remember going through the patch notes and just being like, card emotes, and we just skipped over it because we were like, I don't know what this means. Yeah. But do you want to explain to people what card emotes are? Because I reckon there's going to be a bunch of people tweeting at us like, card emotes? What the heck?
Yeah, so when you're in game, you can click on a card, yours or your opponent's, and then the card art comes up. You can read what it does, and then I think it's the bottom right corner is where it's got like a little face, and you can click that. And there's 3 emotes. There's like an angry face emoji. There's an emoji with like stars as the eyes.
Yep.
And there's also maybe a crying one or something.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's 3 emotes, and you can click one of those, and that emoji will pop up to that card that you clicked on.
It's kind of funny because it's almost like taunting. Like you can taunt with that an angry face or the star face, but I mean, I guess no one actually really uses it for that.
Yeah,
which
no
I
one
mean is kind of
really
good.
uses it for that, but
Yeah.
it's kind of funny. Like, I don't know, the gaming world can be quite toxic sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
even me, when I see like sometimes, not often, but when I see like a big devil dino come up and I've got like a Shang-Chi, I'll react to that devil dino with like the starry eyes, and then bang, Shang-Chi comes through and
you're
just wipes him out.
you're the toxic player.
Yeah, pretty
Wow.
bad.
I didn't know this side of you, Justin. That's very
Thank you
interesting.
guys.
One day we're gonna be in battle mode and you're just gonna be taunting me all the time.
Yep.
But a battle mode, that we will discuss that during the when we get up to the development roadmap. We will discuss it, but it was a feature that was meant to drop before the end of the year. It's been pushed back a little bit, but we'll get into all of that. First up, featured locations. Last week we skipped over them because we got straight into the meat. There was so much content, but we will go through them. Clintar was the featured location. 40% chance of it showing up for the 48 hours that it was live. Then it gets added to the pool as always. Justin, what was your thoughts on this location? Do you want to tell everyone what it did for those that didn't get to play with it?
So Clintar is like, some kind of venomized carnage location. That's what it looks like. It reads, after turn 4, merge your cards here into a symbiote. So it you can put like, did you play with that location much?
So I actually didn't play for that. Well, like I did play a couple games in those 2 days. I was super busy with work, but I didn't actually get the location. But I know I definitely can see. I definitely figured out how it would be used and how to use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's the symbiote. Turn 4, all your cards merge into it. They have that amount of power. So if you had 20 power at the location, the symbiote has 20 power. It's a 1-cost card, which was very, very interesting to me, because that is very susceptible to, I guess, Killmonger. What was your experience with the location?
Yeah, so I think when we read about this location in the podcast, we said like, there's Shang-Chi bait because we didn't know what cost it was going to be.
Yeah.
But it was Shang-Chi bait because you could put all these cards there, it will merge into one, and if it's above 9 power, then Shang-Chi will come through. But
Yes.
it turns out to be even worse than that because it ends up a 1 cost and whatever power, just Killmonger just destroys it. And you don't even have to play Killmonger in the same lane as Clintar. So
Yeah.
that was kind of what was happening. So I did play through it. I didn't play a specific deck for it, but I saw that, downsides obviously is that Killmonger. So everyone was kind of avoiding it, or like putting some 1-cost cards there because if Killmonger's going to come out, it's going to destroy those 1-cost cards anyway.
Yeah.
But some really cool characters or cards to put on Clintar is that I saw was Ebony Maw. So Ebony Maw is a 1/7, and then you can't play cards there. But when it merges into the symbiote, then doesn't have that ongoing effect anymore.
That's right.
Same as things like Electro. Electro gives you +1 power, +1 energy.
Yep.
And for the rest of the game. And then the ongoing ability is you can only play 1 card per turn, but when it merges into that symbiote, then the ongoing ability is gone. So basically, you're playing on reveals there if you want to, because you obviously get that on reveal ability, and then that power just merges into that symbiote. But ongoing abilities, you got to really be careful. You're putting cards with negative ongoing abilities there. Typhoid Mary is another one. But cards with good ongoing abilities, you don't really want to put there because you'll lose that ability.
Yes, so I guess something like Typhoid Mary, you play that there turn 4, it gets merged as well, and that -1 goes away. So yeah, there's some cool synergies with it. I think the sad thing about it is Killmonger and Shang-Chi, which are probably like 2 of the most played counter cards, just destroy, like absolutely just wipe it off the board. And because it's merging all your other cards, you just lose everything.
Yeah, I feel like Shang-Chi is not so bad because Shang-Chi, like, you are going to play a card with a high cost. And Shang-Chi can always get rid of that card. But, there's constraints that you have to play Shang-Chi at that location.
True.
But with Killmonger, it feels so bad. Like you're building up this location, all merges into one symbiote, and then it just gets destroyed with a simple Killmonger. I feel like at some stage they should maybe change it so that symbiote is at least a 2 cost.
Yeah. I agree.
Otherwise, it feels pretty bad.
2 cost, I think it just makes it like not a lot better. I think the only interaction making it a 2 cost is like, I guess, like Polaris can move it. That's about it. Like there's nothing else that really hurts it.
That's not the biggest deal.
No,
like,
it's
if
not.
Polaris
That's what I mean.
it, like,
I'm just trying to think of
At least you're still keeping that power.
For sure.
But I feel like they should really change that at some stage.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm just thinking like interaction. Like if you make it a 3 cost card, then all of a sudden it like synergizes with Silver Surfer. If you make it 3 or 4 as well, like Magneto can move it. So I think 2's maybe like a sweet spot to protect it a little bit.
Yeah.
Unless they're like, the idea is, I think, like you could argue, you got to be careful, but then I think it just makes it a bad location because you'll just never play cards there.
Yeah,
like you just
we were saying before, you can't even drop an armor there to protect it because, well, before turn 4 anyway, because you drop the armor there before turn 4, the armor merges into that symbiote, and then the ongoing ability is gone. So your card is not protected anymore. Because you're not. Yeah, the wording is merge your cards here into a symbiote so they don't actually get destroyed. So armor doesn't help you there at all.
So here's the thing. So because the symbiote is like it has no ability. What if it became like a super scroll and it just got all of the ongoing abilities as well?
That would be insane. That's like a possible location idea for them in the future.
Yeah, like imagine, like let's say that it instead of getting the power, it has like a set power, but it gets all the ongoing abilities.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I mean, I guess it wouldn't really matter because it just eat them up. Here's the ongoing. I don't know. I just feel like it was very lackluster. When we saw it, it was the location we were most excited for this season, and it seemed to be one that was just easily countered. I still think it's cool. Like, I mean, you can Patriot can buff it, I guess. Like, there's a few things you can do with it.
Still cool. And then you've also got like, you're playing cards there before turn 4, and then that becomes the only card there. It becomes like, something for Arnim Zola to destroy and copy.
Yes.
If it's pretty beefy, like it is a pretty cool location. I don't think it's a bad location. I just think that being the featured location and it came up so many times, you just put Killmonger in a deck, and you're destroying it every time. You're destroying that symbiote every time. So it's not a bad location. It's all right.
I guess you're just losing if you don't play Killmonger, because as long as your opponent, whoever plays Killmonger, probably just wins.
Yeah.
And if you both play Killmonger, then you just negate the location basically when you both draw it. So yeah, interesting location. I thought it was 48 hours is, again, it is a long time. I don't think I'd be against it becoming 24 hours, but then there's also that argument that people who are busy that day will miss out on playing it. So I think 48 hours, I guess, makes sense. But no one's ever going to be completely happy about the time frame that the featured locations are. But I think this one was fine. I say fine, but it just forced everyone to play Killmonger.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, it
or
kind of
play Storm or something.
Yeah, what I found was people were just avoiding this location altogether until after turn 4, which is fine as well.
It just becomes like Oscorp.
The end of it.
Becomes like Oscorp Tower, where the cards swap sides and just no one plays anything there for 3 turns.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Love it. All right, and then the hot location on the Sunday, 60%. This appears 60% of games. It was, I don't even know how to pronounce this. Is it Nidavellir?
No, it's Nidavellir.
Nidavellir. I was close. That's kind of what I said.
Nidavellir. That's how they pronounce it in Thor.
In Thor, yeah. So it was, pretty like normal location. What, all cards they have +5 power?
Yeah, cards you have +5 power.
So, there was like any combos that you were running for this location?
Not me in particular, but just Iron Man.
Yes, that's right.
Iron Man is just massive at this location.
Yeah.
You're usually if you're filling this location with 4 cards and your opponent only has 3, generally no matter what those cards are, you'll win it because you're getting that extra 5 power plus, that extra card. But with Iron Man, you can get some crazy power at this location. So Iron Man always goes here. Even on his own, he gets +5 power and then he's 10 power. Now, if your opponent didn't have anything there, it's an auto win, or if they have like a small card there, it's like an auto win. But yeah.
So my question is, I'm trying to remember how this works. If you play Venom at that location, it doesn't get those +5 powers, does it?
No, it doesn't, because that card doesn't actually have
5 power.
the extra 5 power.
Yes.
It's only at that location.
Yes.
So if that card, I think the way I think of it is, if that card was to move to another location, would it keep that power? No. So
Yes.
Venom doesn't
So
absorb that power.
the power, the +5 power is from the location, not actually the card. So it's not like,
correct.
hey, it's not like Nova adds +1 to the card's power sort of thing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, correct.
Which is
I think that's the way it works.
which I believe. No, I'm like 99% sure that's how that works.
Yeah.
So I guess Iron Man's like your big combo piece there, I guess.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's not a lot to say about it.
Yeah, other than that, I think like maybe like some Sandman decks can work or have worked with this, because if you put Sandman on turn 4, your opponent, depending on their deck, can only get 1 card there per turn, and you can have things like Jubilee or Doctor Doom, like spreading some cards across the board, and then obviously hopefully you end up with more cards at Nidavellir, and win that location. So there's a couple of things to work around there.
Yeah, it's kind of like a fill this location first, play Sandman.
Yeah, correct.
For sure. Cool. But yeah, not too much to say about that one. I think that one for 24 hours didn't like make anyone sad. Didn't make anyone too upset. So that's always a good thing when we can have these featured and hot locations, but still everyone can enjoy the game without their deck all of a sudden becoming awful.
Yeah.
Cool. So Justin, you said you've been playing a new different deck this week. What have you been playing?
Yeah, so I've been playing a Devil Dino deck.
Cool.
I hadn't played. I think I mentioned it in the last podcast because I had made it, but I hadn't really played with it much. I'm currently sitting at rank 90.
Cool. Nice.
With this deck, it's pretty good. Let me just get it up to see what's in there. So I've got Agent 13. Is a 1/2, draws a random card.
Yep.
Puts a random card into your hand. I got Iceman Classic, Nightcrawler Classic.
Yep.
I got Quinjet, which is cool.
Yeah, love Quinjet in these decks.
Yeah. Then I got Scorpion, Sentinel. So they're all your general, your usual Devil Dino. I got Moon Girl.
Let everyone know. Maybe tell everyone, because a lot of these are pull 1, pull 2 cards. Quinjet. That's very important to the deck. What does Quinjet do?
So Quinjet's got an ongoing ability. So it's cards that didn't start in your deck cost 1 less. So you're drawing cards from Agent 13, Sentinel copies. When you play Sentinel, copies a Sentinel back into your hand. So those cards that end up in your hand that you didn't draw from your deck, they all have 1 less cost.
Yeah, which is great. Like it's pretty cool because it's like I guess in this deck, I don't know, you're not playing Sarah, are you?
I'm not playing Sarah.
Yeah, but like if you combo that even in there, like you're playing cards for like basically nothing, like really low costs, which is pretty cool.
It helps a lot. And sometimes you don't play those cards, but they just stack onto Devil Dino. You got them in your hand, which is cool.
Yes.
So also I've got Aero in this deck now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Devil Dino decks never used to have Aero, but she's crazy. Like Aero is all up in the meta now. Such a good card. You can play Devil Dino on 5, be winning at 2 or 3 locations, and then just play Aero and you win basically.
Yep.
And then I've also got Agent Coulson in here. So that's the Series 4 card. Yeah, Series 4 card that I pulled from a cache a while ago. So he's got an on-reveal ability that reads, add a random 4 cost and 5 cost card to your hand.
Yes. So
he's pretty cool. And a few times I've actually drawn Devil Dino with him. So then,
wow.
And if I've got Quinjet on the board, then Devil Dino is a 4 cost. So then I play, Agent Coulson 3, Devil Dino 4, which is this copy, this copy Devil Dino, and then my Devil Dino on turn 5 for 5
cool.
power. And it's something on turn 6. It's pretty cool. And then I've got Leader in there as well. So Leader.
That's so dirty.
Yeah, so
filthy.
Leader is again a card that is wrecking the meta right now. So
That's
It's
disgusting.
just a deck where you get some high power
Yeah.
turns 1 to 4 at least, and then turn 5 you either want to play Arrow or Devil Dino depending on the board, depending on what you got in your hand, and then turn 6 if you're generally winning and have space, then you can go for that leader play, which usually works. So I've climbed what I started off at 70 collection level. I've been using that deck, and I've also been
70 rank.
70
You
rank.
said
Sorry,
collection level. I'm like, oh, new
70 rank.
player.
Yeah, no, thanks for the correction. 70 rank. And I've also been using that Lockjaw discard deck,
Ooh.
which is so cool. And I found it's similar to one that you showcased in one of your YouTube videos a while ago. But now I've got Silver Surfer in there.
Ooh.
Which is interesting. But think about it. You have Lockjaw.
Lady Sif.
You got Lady Sif. You got Mood Knight.
Yep.
And you have Swordmaster.
Interesting.
So it's pretty good, and I think the idea is you play him on Lockjaw, maybe on turn 6, buffs your other 3 costs, and then he swaps out for something else.
Yeah, that's cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
Because he could swap out for something like Apocalypse, or if you don't draw it.
Yeah,
or another discard card, and then discard Apocalypse again, and then Dracula takes it. That's cool.
I've got Dracula in deck,
Of
so
course,
you're not always playing Apocalypse on turn 6. You're often leaving him in hand, so you can play like 2-3 cost cards on turn 6 or something. It's a good deck.
Yeah, it sounds fun actually with Silver Surfer. I think Silver Surfer's opened up a lot of decks, which is pretty cool.
Definitely.
I like.
And what have you been playing?
Well, I actually just wanted to say I like the fact that your deck, because Devil Dino, like you're getting high power for just a single card. It makes the leader plays a lot more efficient because you're not flooding the board, so you get generally guaranteed to copy all your opponent's cards and win.
Yeah, I have found that because I do have like maybe 3 1-cost cards.
Yeah.
And then like 2 2-cost cards. I do get
Fill it
a
up
fair bit of cards on the board, a little bit too much where leader doesn't really work, but leader's kind of like a fail-safe. It's kind of like a win more card, you know?
That's exactly what it is. I think the reason that the card has become so, like, people were playing leader before, but the deck that this is a great segue. I'm still playing the leech leader deck that I spoke about last week, and the reason is I'm convinced it's not going to be around for too long.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm just gonna milk it right now and just play it as much as I can.
Yeah.
I jumped over and started playing some Silver Surfer and kept testing that out. And then I was kind of looking at the Leech Leader deck, and I can't imagine it's going to be around for too long. We'll get into that later. So. But it's a cool deck. I think Leech has just like shaken things up. The card has always existed, but now that there's so many combo-y decks being played, there's a lot of people, now that the game's gone global, there's a lot of people in Pool 3 with all these powerful cards, and Leech just completely shuts down those big like turn 6 game plans. Yeah. So you're shutting down your Sarah decks where they play Sarah, now next turn they're going to play all these cards and none of them have abilities. It's like just ruins their plans. There's just so many decks that it hurts.
Something happened to me, which I think you spoke about in the last podcast, but it actually happened to me where I was playing that Lockjaw discard deck.
Yes.
And
I know it. Yep.
I can't remember exactly what happened or how it worked, but they ended up leeching me, and then they must have leeched on turn 6. I reckon.
And you
turn
discarded,
6, and I did like Lady Stiff and something else on Lockjaw, and I had Dracula on the board, hoping that the Apocalypse, Dracula would discard Apocalypse and gain his power, and then they got leeched down. Apocalypse's ability is gone. Lady Sif goes down, discards Apocalypse, doesn't come back to my hand, and I'm like, wait, what? And then Dracula stays at a 0 power.
So wait,
so bad.
Yeah, was that turn 6? Because they can do it turn 5 as well.
Yeah, but I'm thinking if they did it on turn 5,
you would have retreated.
I would have retreated. Yeah. So I think they did it on turn 6. I can't quite remember.
But yeah, so the game where I had that scenario, I leeched on turn 5. And so they lost their Apocalypse and just retreated instantly because that was it. So cool. Like, it's Leech Leader is fun, but I can see how it's frustrating because it just makes people not play the game on turn 5. Like, if you hit them on turn 5, it's kind of Yeah,
They know they're going to lose.
that's the thing. So like like I want to say that it doesn't get you a ton of cubes, but it does, because there's times where it doesn't look like you're not winning by that much, so your opponent still commits, and then your leader just copies everything.
I think also if you have Leech in hand, if you have Leech Leader in hand, you'd always be snapping on turn 4 before they see it anyway.
That's right.
So you'd still be getting that 2 cubes regardless of if they retreat.
Yeah, you're still getting like 2 to 4 cubes, even though you might not be getting big 8 cube wins, but they still come because you've got Magneto, and Magneto just like sometimes it's not expected. So something like Leech, even something like Leech, and then Magneto, all their cards away from the locations that they're trying to win is pretty good.
Yeah.
We'll discuss some more about Leech Leader later. For anyone who hasn't seen the Leech Leader lists, you've probably been living under a rock. But no, yes, it's kind of just popped up out of nowhere. Leaders just started getting played a ton. I don't think I had a massive issue with Leader initially, but now like there's a lot of combos where you can get a lot of power early game, and then it's just like an automatic win sort of thing.
Yeah, I was playing a Leader deck a while ago before this deck came out, like a while ago, and it was a cool deck, but Leader wasn't like the be all and end all of the deck. You know what I mean? Like it was a great part of the deck, but it's not like this deck. This deck is just crazy. It really just shuts your opponent down.
The Leech, Leech is what really makes it kind of gross, because it can shut down really big turn 6s. And I mean that's the meat of the game. Turn 6 is your win condition. Like you can't win the game before, like a lot of other card games, you can win on, turn 3, turn 4, turn 10. You don't actually know. Whereas we know that turn 6 is the turn that I need to win. Yeah. And Leech just stops. Like I had games where I leeched my opponent and I'd played White Queen, so I knew what they had. And so it's like, I get their 6 cost card. I'm like, oh, they're going to play that. I'm going to copy it. And they play a bunch of other cards. They play a bunch of 2 cost cards to throw me off. But I still copy them with Leader and still win. Yeah. So it's like pretty much no matter what they did, it was completely unwinnable for them.
Yeah, Leader only fails if you don't have enough space on the board, or you copy like a Mystique or like an Iron Man or just something with a strange ability that can help them and not you so much. But if you've leeched them, then that just doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's right. So Lee in chat said, I felt bad for playing Leech Leader. Got me to infinite in a week, but felt guilty for ruining people's days. Cheese deck. And it's true. Like and these decks are going to pop up. Like they're going to go in and out of the game and metas. It's inevitable that you have like these high powered decks, and there's ways to fix them. But I can definitely see how, like I've seen some crazy. So thinking about win rates that we've seen with decks so far, and like, we were in the beta, so we've seen decks come and go, but generally nothing was kind of higher than maybe a 60% win rate. Like from when we've been playing, previous to when Australia got the beta, maybe it was worse because there was some crazy, stupid, powerful cards. But from the moment we've been playing, looking at deck trackers and things like that, 60% may be the highest. Whereas
I reckon,
this deck is hitting like 70% plus.
That's crazy.
It just kills the meta when there's decks like that. And then I know you can try and counter it, but it's not heavily counterable. Like, unless you're just playing Leech Leader as well.
Yeah.
Which is what's happening anyway.
Yeah, you can't really counter Leech Leader because anything that you can use to counter it...
It's just Cosmo, I guess.
But Leech will just remove the ability if it's like a hard counter on turn 6 or something, so it's hard. I mean, there are ways around it, if you see that they play a Leech... Again, like they have the retreat system. So if you see that they play a Leech on turn 5, if you don't think, there are ways to win sometimes, but if you don't think that you can win, you just retreat.
That's right. Like if I see a Leech and I don't have, like if I get leeched and I didn't leech them, I'm just retreating generally because all of a sudden my hand is completely useless. Lisa's move decks kill it and Patriot decks, which is like we said Patriot decks last week. But the thing is that is like even
You
then,
have to be playing that specific deck.
but that's the thing. Like you're playing move to counter these decks, but you just lose to so many other things.
Yeah, move is trash. Patriot is a good one, but
Patriot, yeah, Patriot, like Ultron Patriot probably just is a
yeah,
great counter. Because even if they copy like an Ultron and just fill up their boards with drones, their drones do nothing.
doesn't do much for him.
So
Yeah,
that's
but
actually pretty cool. But then, I mean,
I've
I've played
the
that
death out
deck.
of Patriot.
Yeah, we played that deck for like months. Like I played
Yeah.
that for like at least a month straight. So
I'd played that for 2 seasons straight, and now I can't look at it.
can't look at it. Yeah, just you feel sick every time you go to play it. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, this again? Yeah, that's I kind of feel that as well. I picked it up like a few weeks ago, and I'm like, oh, I remember this deck. It's so much fun. And then I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah, no.
For sure. Well, enough about what we've been playing because we've got 2 new cards that have been released. Marvel Snap Zone have put up some great articles explaining the card and I guess looking at ways that we can use it. So it's a bit of theory crafting, I guess. So let's actually check that out because Safety Blade. Oh, big shout out to Safety Blade actually for writing this. I didn't even realize Safety Blade wrote this, so that's pretty cool. Guys, again, if you're listening to the audio version of this, we're gonna have all the links. Anything we discuss will be on the Twitter account at Infinite Snap Pod. So go and follow that. So let's check this out. So I'll definitely link this article.
Quick thought. What are your thoughts on when a new card, like obviously when these new cards are being released, the game does not show them anywhere at all. You don't even know that they're in the game unless you've been keeping up with the news and whatever. What are your thoughts on like, they release a new card and they give everyone access to that card for 24 hours?
It's so weird, isn't it? Because I'll answer your question in a moment, but it's weird in that other card games, not even card games, just any digital game, when new content is released, it's like right in your face. Like if
it's huge.
A new map comes, play the new map. If a new weapons come out in a game, try the new weapons. New content update, play the new missions. It's just you can't avoid it. Whereas with Marvel Snap, it's kind of like the start of the season, they announced all the stuff coming this month. Hey, this is when the cards are dropping, and then that's it. You don't hear anything after that. You see, some tweets about from the official account saying, hey, we're showcasing, Null is the card of the week, and they're talking about it, but it's not really, you don't see it when you open the game. That's the thing that bewilders me.
Yeah, unless you're going into the news tab or you're doing your own, watching your own YouTube videos or whatever, if you're just going onto the app, clicking play, upgrading cards, you don't know. You don't know that these cards are being released, really.
It's true. I mean, if you listen to the Infinite Snap podcast, you're going to know.
You'll definitely know that.
And I think it's funny that it's kind of why we decided to... we record on Tuesday evenings, which in Australia is about 6-7 hours after new content releases. And then obviously the episode ends up on podcast platforms the day after we record. So you're essentially getting the news straight away. And we kind of planned it that way because we can talk about the new cards and everything right as they drop. But like you said, if you're not up to date with Marvel Snap news, you're not actually going to know that these cards have released because they don't appear in your token shop. Yes, they are, you might open up your next cache and get one of these pool 5 cards. That's the only way you're actually going to know. My only counter argument is Marvel Snap is very casual player friendly. So maybe it's not the worst thing in the world for casual players because they're not even trying to get these cards at the moment. They might play 3 to 4, 5 games a day. And so they're not really they don't really care about metas and things like that. And all the people that want to know about this stuff, all the, hardcore meta players, the ladder, grinding ladder, things like that, they're going to know about this stuff anyway. So
yeah, you're right.
I think I can see what you're saying because I think of a game like Hearthstone will be telling you about their new expansion a month ahead of time. Like spoiler alert, here's some cards, here's more cards. Hey, this content creator's showcasing new cards coming. They just promo the crap out of it. They will run events like tournaments to promote the new cards, the new class, the new game mode. Just they promo the crap out of it. Whereas we just get, hey, here's what's coming this month, and that's it.
Yeah, and in other games, if new cards are dropped or a new set is being dropped, not only is it in your face, but also there'll be a button right next to the, the ad in your face saying buy here.
Dude,
Whereas in
that's
Marvel
right.
Snap, I know it's not,
It's a
they're not
different game.
giving you, they're not giving you clear access to just buy a card. There are avenues that you have to get through, such as collector's
Sorry,
tokens or credits.
small correction. You can technically buy cards with bundles.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But I think it would be like a cool idea, like, Sentry drops today, and Darkhawk drops today. What if the 24 hours before these cards actually become available, they're unlocked for every single player? Then you at least get to try these cards in decks, see what they do. Content creators get to make videos around them, build some
Ooh.
decks and whatnot. And then, like, at the end of that 24 hours, or when these cards actually drop, they either allow you to buy the card, like it's all right, not buy the card. Say this: the card comes up in the token shop, right? So it's accessible. And I know that's not really the way that they've done things or the way that they seem like they want to do things. But maybe after that, at least players just know that, oh, hey, if this card comes up in my token shop, I know that I want to buy it because I've actually tested it and played with it. Like, I think that would be a cool idea. Because now, these two cards are coming out. Got no idea. I mean, I can read what they do, but I've got no idea, like, how they synergize with other cards. And not all the content creators can make decks with these cards in them and show me what they do, because they don't have them either.
Well, that's true. That's very true. But Safety Blade has written some articles for us, so he's people are at least attempting to theory craft with the cards.
Yeah.
I guess the counter argument, and people are saying in chat, they actually, like, Lee says he likes the fact that they don't heavily push cards because like FOMO is a real thing. And
Yeah.
I think the only issue with your idea of getting the card for 24 hours, once that 24 hours is up and you realize the card is cracked and broken, how much money are you spending to get that card?
Yeah, well, that's good for the developers then.
Oh, I mean, it's good for, like, I guess it's good for income. Like, people will buy things, but again, you can't just guarantee that you get the cards. So the next problem is, as a content creator, say you miss that 24 hours and all the other content creators go, this card is cracked. And then, like, all those content creators are trying to get the card. You missed out. So now you want the card. Oh, but I'm not even missing out. You play with the card. Say you play for 8 hours that day because you're like, oh, I really want to try the Sentry. Card is amazing. You might have to spend $1,000 to get the card. Do you know what I mean?
I would rather have FOMO and actually have been able to play with the card to see if it's worth spending tokens on or not, than just not having any interaction with the card. Then all of a sudden it pops up in my shop and I'm like, oh, this YouTuber said that this card was really good and I watched their video and maybe I should get it. And you know what I mean?
I do get what you're saying. I think like giving people, it's like featured locations. Like, hey, we're going to let you use this card for a little while. The thing with the locations is you don't buy them. And
Yeah.
I get what you're saying because you get to test the card out. Again, my other argument would be, say you don't play that day because you didn't know that the card was released and you didn't open Marvel Snap all day. You've now missed that opportunity as well as a casual player.
That's kind of on you. That's a you problem.
That's you problem, guys.
That's not my problem. It's the same thing as if you don't play for a day and you don't check your token shop and the card that you wanted popped up.
That's for sure. I mean, that's completely correct. But the thing is, you're not going to know that it popped up.
Yeah.
You don't actually know that you missed it. Whereas this you're going to know you missed it because everyone got to test it out. Anyway, let's get into the Sentry. Sentry cannot be played at the right location, so you can only play at the left or the middle, and on reveal add a -8 power void to the right location. So the Sentry is a 4-cost card, 8 power. So you're essentially playing an 8 power card and then playing a -8 power card on the right location. We spoke about this card when the new season came out. It's an interesting one.
Yeah.
We actually spoke about some synergies we thought of. Let's see what Safety Blade's thoughts are. Got a little synopsis of who Sentry is, but we'll skip over that.
Oh, you know I love that kind of stuff.
We'll do a quick one. So Marvel's answer to Superman, immensely powerful Robert Reynolds, meth addict. Nice. Don't do drugs, kids. Broke into a laboratory where super soldier serum was being developed, found and consumed a vial called Golden Sentry serum, obtained the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns, destroyed the lab, killed his partner, and eventually used these powers for good and became the superhero of the century. That is a terrible.
Awesome.
That is not awesome. That is the.
Why not?
That's like. Oh man, that's an interesting backstory. It's like, so what you're saying, like, taking a random serum saved him from drugs?
No, well, I see it as he wanted all this power. He got all this power. He realized that having all this power should not be used for bad, and he became a superhero.
This is an awful story. Oh man, crazy. I mean, like, the powers are cool for sure. The origin story is an interesting one.
Does it say? What does it say about the void? Anything about the void?
Yeah, so the void begins a reign of terror on Earth, but heroes of Earth discover it is in fact the dark side of Sentry's own powers manifested. Damn it, this is cool now.
That is cool.
This is actually kind of cool now.
See, that makes the card and what they've done with the card so much better.
Yeah, it's pretty.
That's why I love reading about the characters.
Pretty neat, actually. Reed Richards and Doctor Strange were able to erase the memory of Sentry from the entire population of Earth. Oh, sorry, they erased, so no one knows who Sentry is. Oh, including Sentry himself. This made him inactive with the stopping the void also. Interesting. And then there's a bunch of stuff about he awakens, New Avengers.
Oh, don't worry about that.
Blah, 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 blah. Strategy and potential. Sentry, interesting card. It has a net 0 power added to the board on its own. You're getting +8 and -8 at a different location, so essentially 0. But as we discussed, 0, of course, you can play 0 to negate that -8 card being spawned.
And destroy decks.
But see, we spoke about this. Typhoid Mary and Atuma are better targets for 0 than the Sentry.
Yeah.
So you're better off just playing them. Effect is very limiting. 4 cost makes it like pretty expensive too. So you've got Crossbones, who is a 4 energy 8 power card, and all you need to be doing is winning that location, or you can just play 0 again. And this is what we said. We looked at other cards of the same cost, and there was just better options.
Definitely.
It does have the pen. Yeah, so 0 is a way to use it. I think we also said...
we just said destroy deck. I think destroy decks he fits right in.
Yeah, we did, but couldn't you also play... What's the card that sends it to your opponent's side of the field?
That's Viper, but that's only 1 and 2 cost cards, or 2 and 3 cost cards.
And what's the Void?
4.
Yeah, so it doesn't work.
Doesn't really work.
That sucks. That's really cool artwork, though.
That is cool. Very cool artwork.
The Void, guys. I'll post that on the Twitter.
This is where I wish that... I think Tom said way back that the tokens should also have variants. That is the only Void that we're going to see for the foreseeable future.
We don't know that yet.
For the foreseeable future.
Foreseeable future. No, you're right. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
But it is a cool artwork.
And so we've got a deck list here. The Hood, Nova, Carnage, Daredevil, Viper. But does Viper work that way? No. On reveal, your opponent gains control of one of your other cards at this location. No, it definitely works.
Yeah, Viper works.
I was sure Viper would work with that. So Viper will... So you can play Viper there, send the Void back to over to your opponent's side. A pretty powerful combination.
It is.
You've got Green Goblin there again. Try and lower your opponent's power on their side of the field. You've got Storm, Debris, Polaris, Spider-Man, the Sentry, of course, and Doctor Doom. Pretty cool. I guess again, you're right. You could play Destroyer as like a backup if you don't get the Viper.
Yeah.
I actually like this deck better than playing 0 because 0 it's not the best 0 target. So at least this way you're getting some power with other cards. The Hood's an interesting one, but I guess you can also play Viper on the Hood, like worst case scenario.
We've got Carnage in here as well. So
that's right, of course.
Carnage can take care of the Hood or the Void.
Yes, correct. You're right. Oh, Carnage can totally eat the Void. You're right.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. And then I guess, yeah, you can't play Venom, obviously, because you don't want to eat the Void, because Venom will go to -8. So this is like, people always argue like Venom's a better Carnage, and it's like, not in all cases.
Completely different cards.
Correct. So I actually like this deck. I think Safety Blades put together something pretty playable from day one. It'd be interesting to try out, but I don't know if the Sentry is appealing enough with all the other cards to purchase.
Why the debris? Why debris in there?
Because you can add rocks and Carnage can eat them.
Okay, and why Storm?
You can also send them over to your opponent, a 0-cost rock to fill it up. That's actually pretty good, because debris adding rocks to your opponent. You could just send another rock over there to block things.
Yeah.
And then you've also got Carnage to eat them, which is completely fine. And Storm for Doctor Doom, essentially.
Yeah, and
Storm,
Polaris. You can drag opponents' cards
away.
Out of there.
Yeah, for sure.
Pretty good deck.
I actually like it. I think it's cool, but I don't think it's enticing enough to purchase the Sentry at pool 5 cost. So at 6,000 tokens. Yeah, it's a lot. And then we've got, here's like a Destroyish deck. You got Killmonger in here, Bucky Barnes, Death, Leader, Wave, Mysterio for Carnage as well. So pretty similar ideas. You got Death in here, which is pretty powerful. Cool.
Yeah, it's a bit more destroy heavy, which includes Death, which is cool. I'd probably lean more towards something like this.
Okay, yep. I think I like the first one. I think it's just a bit more interesting. I feel like I feel like I'm just over destroy decks, to be honest.
Yeah, although Leader is interesting there. I feel like they've just thrown Leader in there 100%. Because it's Leader.
Just throw Leader into everything. Cool. Yeah. So that is the Sentry. And then the other card we have is Darkhawk. So Darkhawk is a 4-cost card, 1 power. Very interesting.
Yep.
Ongoing +2 power for each card in your opponent's deck. Now, we spoke about this card as well on the podcast, and we mentioned cards that add cards into your opponent's deck. So we mentioned things like Rock Slide. What else did we mention?
Rock Slide, Korg, and Black Widow, I think, were the main ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so, and then maybe Odin to finish it off, put some of those more rocks or Black Widow, trigger it again. I think, let's do the math here. How many cards do you end up with if you draw 1 card per turn?
So you start with 3 cards, yeah. So you start with 3 cards and you have 6 turns, so you draw 6 cards. So you end up with 3 cards in deck with no shenanigans.
All right, so nothing happens, and Darkhawk is a 4/7.
Yes, he'll be 7 power, correct.
Like, to be honest, that's already not bad. Like, Sentry is a 4/8, but
with a bad downside.
A big downside.
Yeah, but like Jessica Jones gets to 8 power for 4 cost.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, Darkhawk, in first impressions, I thought, like not that great, but Darkhawk's probably better than the Sentry, to be honest.
Okay, Darkhawk. So I've asked chat which card is better, Darkhawk or the Sentry.
Yeah.
I think this card's cool. It's like it's on along the lines of things like Devil Dino and
Ronin.
Ronin, yeah. But it's instead of cards in hands, it's cards in deck. Yeah. I feel like if this was cards in your deck, it would be way, way better because you could play things like...
you just play Thanos?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You play something like Thanos and Darkhawk is amazing. So let's assume that you find ways to add cards to your opponent's deck. You play Black Widow to stop them. I guess he could get to like 10 plus power for 4 costs. It's pretty good.
If they got 3 cards in the deck at the end of the game, you add 1 rock from Korg, 2 rocks from Rock Slide, and they don't draw from Black Widow. It's an extra 4 cards.
Yeah,
which
you're
is
right.
An extra 8 power. Like it's pretty
good. So let's see what I believe. So Den wrote the article for Darkhawk. So Den writes everything because he's very, very involved in the Marvel Snap community. Really cool dude. So why is Darkhawk such a risk, you might ask? Take a look at the criteria. This is kind of funny. In order to convince players he's worth it. Easily understandable, check. Establish synergies. First time we have such effect in the game, it is. We haven't had an effect like this. Several cards that can impact the opposing deck. Yep, we already have things like that. So yeah, this is what I like. I like when you compare, like the easiest way to compare cards is there anything better at this cost?
Yeah.
And yeah, this says there'll be 3 cards in the deck without any shenanigans. So this makes it like worse than like a Jessica Jones, Crossbones, Rescue, assuming you don't get to add anything to the deck. But then let's see what let's have a look at the synergies. Korg, the first 3 cards. Korg, Rockslide, Black Widow, which is exactly what we discussed last week. They're the obvious ones.
They are the
for
obvious
sure.
ones. Yeah.
They just add cards and Black Widow stops them from drawing cards. So I don't think we need to explain that too much. We've got Wong here, which I think, yeah, for sure, because you can like double Black Widow, add 2 Widow's Bites to their hand, add 4 rocks with Rock Slide, add 2 rocks with Korg for sure. Odin, as we said, to like, I guess,
re-trigger those
abilities, buff, buff Darkhawk for sure. Absorbing Man can copy on reveals. So again, this is just ways to keep adding cards into their deck. And then Beast, return your other cards at this location to your hand. They cost 1 less. Again, just replaying Korg, Rock Slide.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of these, like when you think about it, Darkhawk's a 4 cost, Absorbing Man's a 4 cost, Wong's a 4 cost, Rock Slide's a 4 cost. Very 4 cost heavy. It's going to be a hard balance.
Yeah, you're not going to play all of these for sure. I think the issue with it is you need a way to spread Darkhawk's power. Like if you're just putting all your resources into powering up Darkhawk, you need a way to, I guess, capitalize on that.
Agreed.
Which is an interesting part of the card. You've got Lockjaw here as well. You can just keep throwing these cards down, swapping them in and out. So it's interesting. And then what have we got here? There's several ways to support them. How much can we get away with taking advantage of the card? Yeah, so things like Taskmaster, for sure. I guess Onslaught can double ongoing effects. So what you would double Darkhawk's ability is pretty powerful as well. But again, yeah, we need to spread that power. So something like Taskmaster makes sense.
Arnim Zola, Taskmaster, they're the usual things that people go to.
Yeah. So I think it's an interesting deck, an interesting card to build a deck around. And then we've got some more synergies here. Mr. Negative, swap the power and cost of cards so you can at least make him a 1 cost card.
That's cool.
Which is pretty cool. You've got Bass, set the power of the card to 3. So you would start at 3 power instead of 1. Also pretty cool. And then Zabu hasn't actually released yet. But we have some rumors that it's coming very, very soon. So 3 cost card, 2 power ongoing. Your 4 cost cards cost 2 less. So Darkhawk would cost 2, which is
that's pretty cool.
Another way you could definitely use the card. See what I'm talking about? Den knows what he's talking about. So I guess we're looking at a potentially powerful card. So we've got a deck list here. The Hood, Iceman, Korg, Nightcrawler, Angela, Black Widow, Beast, Falcon, Mystique, Darkhawk.
Mystique.
Yes, you can copy Darkhawk's.
Mystique. That's the way that you get your power across the board, Mystique.
Well, Mystique, Taskmaster, because Mystique, or actually I was about to say Mystique doesn't have any power, but Darkhawk's only 1 anyway. So you're only losing 1 power on Mystique. So yeah, for sure. But you'd be going what? Darkhawk turn 4, Mystique turn 5 with the 2 cost? A Black Widow?
This deck's a low cost deck, so it's not bad. Yeah, you would really need to get Korg and Black Widow and Rock Slide and probably even replay them with Beast or Falcon or whatever, like to make it worth it. And you would have to do that consistently every game for this deck to actually work.
For sure.
So yeah.
I like it.
I see the potential though.
I really like Darkhawk's ability, but I think there's just other cards that can do this better. Like, why play Darkhawk instead of Devil Dinosaur?
Why play Darkhawk instead of Devil Dino? Well, with Devil Dino, you are controlling your own deck, and you are doing your own thing, and you're not affecting your opponent's hand at all.
Yep, that's a good argument.
With Darkhawk, you're affecting your opponent's hand, your opponent's deck.
Yeah, they're drawing rocks.
It's more disruption.
For sure.
So to try and limit their power, I guess.
So I guess if you can get Darkhawk above 10 power, if you can get him to something like 15 even, and be also harassing your opponent, throwing rocks in their deck, stopping them from drawing, I guess you're relying more on stopping your opponent and using Darkhawk than, like you said, than you doing everything and just hoping you beat your opponent. So you've got control here, you're controlling your opponent a bit, and you're also working on your Darkhawk, getting Darkhawk to a high power.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I like it. Again, I don't know if it's enough for me to choose it over the other pool 4 and 5 cards that have been released yet. But I definitely think there's potential. We've got another deck here with Lockjaw. Of course, you can just throw like Wasp in, play Wasp to swap it out for a Rock Slide or a Korg. You've got Jubilee in there to do a similar thing. This is a quite high cost deck, which I mean, Lockjaw decks generally are, because you want to play your Korg, your Wasps, to like try and get these big cards out. I think this could be interesting, but again, you're not really slow.
Where's the I guess the
Disruption.
power is in those high cost cards, but like turns 1 and 2, unless you're pulling Korg, like let's be honest, you're not playing Wasp to play Wasp. Like you're playing Wasp on Lockjaw, so turns 1 and 2, you are only playing Korg if you draw him.
Yeah.
Then turn 3 is taken up purely by Lockjaw, and
still
then
need to play Darkhawk.
Yeah, turn 4 is where you start getting into it. Say you have a Wasp, but like it's not. I don't know. It's really top heavy, this one.
So yeah, there's a bit of notes here. Darkhawk should usually get to double digits as long as we get Korg to trigger twice or Rock Slide once. Not crazy to consider on par with some 6-cost cards that would be played in Lockjaw. But again, I feel like it's unless you're going hard out to disrupt your opponent and add cards to their deck, I think that's the way. I think you have to play it like that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I think Darkhawk can, if there's other cards that help add cards into your opponent's deck, I think Darkhawk could be pretty cool. And then we've got another deck list here: Taskmaster, Wong, Absorbing Man, Mystique. This is just going like full combo. This is pretty nuts. I feel like this would be fun to play, but
it would be.
I don't know how good it would be.
Well, I mean, you've got like, Darkhawk and Mystique and Taskmaster. They're like
you got so many ways to
hopefully your high-powered cards, right?
Yeah.
You've also got Psylocke in there to help you because there's a lot of 4-cost cards.
Yep.
And then you've got you obviously got your Black Widow, Korg, and Rock Slide, right? They're your 3 disruption cards.
Yeah.
But you've also got Wong and Absorbing Man to re-trigger those or trigger those more than once. So that is probably the deck that I would go with.
Yeah, and then Taskmaster on turn 6.
Yeah.
Like Darkhawk turn 5, Taskmaster turn 6.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's interesting, yeah. I think it'll be a cool card, but again, I can't see like it being the first thing I purchase.
Yeah,
which
agreed.
It's kind of one of those things, like we're reading about it, we're talking about it, but to actually play with the card is a completely different story. And this goes back into, I guess, that conversation of how easy and hard it is to unlock cards.
Yeah.
Cool. So guys, those are the brand new cards. I had a little bit of a thought on how we acquire cards. We've already discussed it a little bit, but I think personally, I'm just going to purchase pool 4 cards with my tokens and just wait for the pool 5 cards to go down to pool 4, because it just means I'm getting more new cards. I'm getting double the amount of cards.
I think of it in a different way. I think if a card comes out that I really like,
you'll pay 6,000 tokens.
It comes out as a Series 5 card.
Yep.
Like all the cards that have come out so far in Series 4 and 5, all I really wanted was Bast, which I got.
Yep.
And I bought Thanos for some reason because I think he's cool. And
6,000 tokens.
And I unlocked Agent Coulson, right?
Cool.
There's no other cards that I'm dying to get. Like some cool cards have come into the token shop, like She-Hulk, and Null, and I haven't even pinned them because I'm like, yeah, it would be cool to have, but it's not the end of the world if I don't have them.
Yeah.
So in saying that, I think if I really want a card and it's like an OP card, and when it comes out, everyone's making these cool decks, content creators are testing it out. I want it then and there while it's overpowered and while everyone's using it, so I can use it there. I think one of the main thing is we don't know when the Series 5 cards are going to drop to Series 4. We don't have that information yet.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, and if I really want a card, I'm not willing to wait a month or 2 for it to drop down to
6
Series
or 12.
or whatever it is. I'm not willing to wait to get it. I don't care about the amount of cards I'm getting. It's quality over quantity.
I like your thinking. Lee said in chat, Bast is worth the 6k gold. Sorry, the 6k tokens, but it'll probably be nerfed. But it's so much fun, and that's my counter argument again.
That's another thing.
It's different in other games. If you get a refund when a card is nerfed, it's a different story. But that's not going to be happening in Marvel Snap. So if you drop 6k on your brand new Thanos, and all of a sudden they make all the Infinity Stones garbage, even though the card already isn't that great, then how do you feel? Your brand new 6,000 token card. Think how long it's going to take you to get 6,000 tokens without buying bundles. Ooh.
Yeah, I think they really have to be transparent with the community on what cards they're looking to nerf or buff, because if I've had Bast for, I don't know, a few weeks now.
Yeah.
If they were to nerf him, I'm like, look, I did pay 6k tokens for this card. It really, really does suck, but I have used the crap out of him and he's been awesome to play. If they do nerf him, I'm like, sucks, but whatever. But if he just came into someone's shop, they just bought him, the next day he gets nerfed, that would really feel bad.
So here's my thing. With Hearthstone, if a card gets nerfed, they give you, like, I think it's a week or 2 weeks opportunity to get rid of that card, to disenchant it, and you get the full cost of the card. So you can now get another card of the same rarity. So I understand, like, if you got the card early and you play with it a bunch, it doesn't feel as bad. But hear me out. If you purchased a bundle, say you purchase all the bundles with collector's tokens in it, dropping hundreds of dollars every time a cool bundle comes out. Yes, you're getting, like, variants and you're getting avatars and credits, but you're buying it for the collector's tokens to get new cards. You buy the card and then it gets nerfed. You've inadvertently spent money to get that card. So
do you think they should be offering refunds on nerfed cards in collector's tokens?
I think it's a tough one, but other games do it. If they nerf a card, and I know in other games you're paying for the cards, which you're not directly doing here, but you are inadvertently buying credits potentially to go up get collector's cations, unlock collector's tokens, buying bundles. I guess the argument is, but you're getting other things out of that spending. But it would feel bad if you drop like hundreds of dollars to get enough tokens, you buy the card, and then it gets nerfed the next day.
I mean, I don't think it's a conversation about the bundles. I wouldn't be refunding the whole bundle.
No, but you'd refund the tokens is what I'm saying.
Refund the tokens.
Yeah, don't refund the bundle. Of course, they still got what they paid for. But if like, it's like, imagine you went out, you bought like a brand new game, and then all of a sudden they just ripped out all the content and said, hey, you can't get a refund. I mean, it happens with video games. You buy a game, the performance of the game is really bad, and they offer you refunds.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they could do that, but then I think that, like, the whole community will a card will get nerfed. They'll buy a card. The card will get nerfed, and then they will use those tokens to buy the next most overpowered card that they can find, and then that will get nerfed, and then it's just like a vicious cycle, which I guess it's fine.
But I mean, we already know what the best cards from the new Pool 4 and 5 cards are. They're the ones that you're targeting if you want to be competitive anyway. Imagine you bought 3, let's say you saved up all these tokens, you bought 3 Pool 5 cards, and all 3 of them got nerfed in the next patch. You would be so devastated. And
it would suck.
I don't know if you saw, Ben Brode tweeted that Galactus is like on their watch. Like they are, and no one actually knows if it's a nerf or a buff. Yeah. No one actually knows, because people are like, I thought Galactus was kind of okay, so maybe it's a buff. Is it a nerf? Is it a buff? But that's not telling you what's happening. That's not saying, hey, don't buy Galactus because we're going to destroy the card, or hey, Galactus is going to get better. It's like if I went out and bought Galactus right now and then the card gets nerfed into the ground and it's unplayable. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I also wonder, they also have the issue with variants, right? So just say you buy a card, it gets nerfed, they offer you the refund. What happens with the variant? It would also have to leave, like you wouldn't be able to keep hold of that, but then when you unlock the card again, does that re-unlock that variant? Like they definitely have a lot to figure out there.
That's why they can't do it. That's why they
Yeah.
won't do it, because if you've got like 4 infinity splits and then it's so hard.
It's
Whew.
very difficult with the variants included. Yeah.
It's tough. Well, anyway, so that was just my thoughts. I'm going to buy pool 4 cards and just wait it out, because I'm just getting more content for my tokens.
But like, what pool 4 cards are you gonna buy right now?
No, nothing
Like the
nothing
good
amazing.
cards that's what I'm trying to say.
She-Hulk's
like, the good
pool
cards
4, yeah?
Maybe.
I think She-Hulk's She-Hulk pool 4, pretty good card. Bast is
Yeah.
pool 5, which is Bast pool 5, yeah.
Bast is pool 5.
Yeah, 6k, yep. Yeah, it's a
Like,
lot.
I think
It's a good card.
I think just a lot of the better cards are pool 5,
Which makes
and
sense.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, and I'm not gonna get more cards just because I can get more
Quantity
cards.
over quality. Quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd rather get the better card, definitely.
Yep. So, chat are talking about nerfs, and that leads me into our next little discussion. Lee reckons Galactus needs to be nerfed. Spider-Man and the Goblin and Green Goblin and both goblins are cracked. And people just that's right. People just retreat when the goblins come out.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man. So I mean, they're not like awful, but yeah, Galactus is pretty game changing.
Yeah, I don't think Galactus is going to get buffed.
No. I also agree.
I don't think that Galactus needs to get nerfed. Although maybe he's just not seen that much because people don't have that access to him.
The problem with Galactus is you're building your deck around winning that one location.
Yeah.
So if you it's essentially if you get Galactus out early, you just probably win.
Maybe.
Like if you got,
I don't think he's overpowered. I think he's a good card. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's enough to nerf him, right?
Galactus, no. You win.
Yeah.
You just win. You get Galactus out turn 5 with like Psylocke or Electro, whatever you play, and then you get Galactus out, destroys everything, null, win. I think that's the part. It's not Galactus itself. It's the cards that you can synergize with it. And if your opponent's playing, like, say you're playing a Kazoo deck, you just auto lose. Like, you're retreating straight away.
But then, I know.
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, I think the issue with it is it's not like, you play Devil Dino and you go, oh man, they've got so much power, maybe I should retreat. They just play Galactus and turn 6 you're losing.
Yeah. Also, I think they need to get rid of the Galactus animation. I know people like it, but it's extremely annoying.
Really, yeah. I mean, if Galactus becomes like just really widespread, I can imagine it being annoying. Yeah. Cool. So, do you think Leader needs to be nerfed?
Yes, definitely.
Is Leader the most annoying card in the game?
I would put Arrow on the same pedestal as Leader at the moment.
It's annoying.
I think Arrow is so annoying. I think Leader is predictable at the moment. I think you can try and play around him.
But how do you play around him? You retreat.
Try and play around him or retreat.
But is that a good argument? If like
no, it's not a good argument.
Yeah, like if 90% of the time you have to retreat against a Leader, it's pretty bad.
I think definitely needs to be nerfed. I think like anything that makes the top deck. I think I've forgotten the name of the game. Marvel Snap. Wow, Marvel Snap is a game where there are multiple decks that compete for that top spot, and I think when there is a deck that clearly takes that top spot, and right now it's the Leader deck. Yeah. I think they definitely need to nerf some aspect of that deck. In this case, clearly it's Leader, right? Like they have to nerf Leader.
So chat saying Leader at 0 power would be fair. I think that's probably not the worst. That's probably not the worst idea, because it means you have to be winning those 2 locations already. Because sometimes what happens is if you know where your opponent's going to play their card and you're losing it by 2 power and you play Leader there, you win that location all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think they could make Leader a 6-0, to be honest, and
so do a Mr. Negative.
It's the worst thing.
Do a Mr. Negative nerf and just make the card 0 power, and then all of a sudden -1.
But then
imagine Leader at -1.
The problem that they have with lowering the power of cards, like really strong, but with cards with really strong abilities that cost 6 have 6 cost. The problem they have with lowering the power is Mr. Negative. You can then play leader in a Mr. Negative deck, get him out for free with 6 cost. It's
That's
actually
so bad.
it's a massive problem when they're trying to
Yeah.
balance cards.
That's why that's why I think Mr. Negative was just a huge mistake in that, and we spoke about this. Mr. Negative forces them to always consider Mr. Negative when making cards.
Correct. And this is, I go back on my opinion. When I called the Mr. Negative nerf and I said they're going to lower his power, and you said they could change his ability, I now think that they need to change Mr. Negative's ability to say,
yep.
I think it should say, I think it could go back to a 4/4, right? And it should say something like, the next 2 cards you draw from your deck, invert their cost and power, or something like that.
So it's not like a, I think my idea was you invert, like it's too complicated though. I think my idea was you invert it and add 1 cost.
Yeah, yours was something like that.
So it's like you're 0, because
well,
because Iron Man just becomes 0, Mystique becomes 0, like all these cards just become free. Whereas at least if they cost something, you're not just on turn 6 playing every single card from that you've drawn. Because I've had Mr. Negative turns where on turn 6 I play 5-6 cards. There's just no way that my opponent can anticipate that.
Yeah, agreed. But thoughts on that? Like the next 2 cards that you draw.
It's interesting. My only gripe with it is if you end up getting negative out on 4, you're only drawing 2 cards generally anyway.
Yeah, which is kind of fun. All right, then the next
like
one
say
card,
you draw Iron Man and you draw Mystique, and so you play Iron Man turn 5, you play Mystique turn 6, and your other cards, and you just win.
Yeah, but like then Jubilee won't work. If you're getting an inverted Jubilee down, then the card that it pulls out is not inverted.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
What's her name? Lady Thor doesn't work.
Yep. Yep.
Just I don't know. I feel like something along those lines could make it better, and then you could nerf leader down easily to like a 6/1 or a 6/2, 6/0.
I feel like when they made Mr. Negative the ability, it's like this amazing, cool idea. Like, don't get me wrong, the ability is so cool and it really changes the game. But I think it just it really forces you to build cards around Mr. Negative. Like look how many changes we had because of Mr. Negative. Ronan got changed because it wasn't powerful. Mr. Negative broke it. Devil Dino got broken by Mr. Negative. Had to change it. Yeah, changed multiple times. Ronan was bad. Mr. Negative they buffed it. Mr. Negative broke the card. It was OP. Like we're getting 20-30 power for like nothing essentially. And then they had to fix the card and send it back to like being bad again. It's just I feel like it was a nightmare when Mr. Negative ran rampant at 4. What was it? 4 power?
4/4 he was.
So
that is
disgusting.
Like insane.
I can't believe we played the game when that was a thing. And that's all you did. You just played Mr. Negative decks because they were just so good.
So I think with going back to leader, he definitely needs a nerf. I definitely think the nerf for leader comes from. Actually, I don't necessarily think the nerf to leader needs to lower his power. It could also be, copy the next card your opponent plays instead of their whole hand.
But this is the thing, when we get into things like, I feel like that just makes the card awful.
But does it make it awful? Like, I mean, often, like your opponent is playing one big card on turn 6.
But not necessarily. Let's say you leech them on turn 5. Say they played Sarah turn 5. You leech them on turn 5. They can still drop 4 cards. 5 cards even. And so you lead on one of them and you just lose.
I feel like then it's a 50-50 on leader, on playing leader, which makes him balanced.
He's balanced, but I feel like you just don't play him. You're better off just playing a high-powered 6-cost card. But yes, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, because then you run into that issue of, like, say you do have a spot that's filled, like all of a sudden leader's a bad play. Because if they play that one card there, you don't copy it. Like they could play 3 cards, and the 2 cards they played at the other locations win them the game. Or they,
I think that's the way that they should. That's the path they should take.
It's a way
because dropping the power just makes him OP with Mr. Negative. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, you're right. And this is the thing. Anything you change power wise, cost and power wise, just is does this become good for Mr. Negative or bad for Mr. Negative? That's your first question. So yeah, I feel like if Mr. Negative disappeared, then leader at zero power makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you make him free with Mr. Negative, oh no.
Yeah,
Could be awful. Imagine like you play Leech turn 3. Nah, you play Leech turn 4 for 3 cost. If you get Mr. Negative out early, you play leader whenever you want. Yeah, pretty interesting. But I think leader's gonna change because it's just running rampant. It's just throw it in a deck and you're probably sweet. If you can get enough power, you probably win. Cool. Yeah. There's probably a bunch of cards we could talk about, buffs and nerfs, but let's check out the development roadmap because 2023 is coming fast. So let's actually check out what's coming in Marvel Snap. So
2023 is here in 1.5 weeks.
I know,
insane.
It is here. So I will post this roadmap on Twitter at Infinite Snap Pod, so you can check that out if you're listening to the audio version. So coming soon, these are the first things that are coming up. Battle mode versus friends. Name changes. So for those people that made an awful name, you can fix that. You know, like our good friend Tom, just put Tom, friend of the podcast, and so everyone just thinks he's a bot every time they play him.
You know what? Not necessarily a bad thing. His name's Tom.
I know, but I mean, like, he could change that to his gamer tag or something like that. Like, what did they write here? You're finally able to correct that poor decision you made when choosing a username. Looking at you, pineapple on pizza stinks. Who hates pineapple on pizza? Everyone. Like,
not me.
Do you like pineapple on pizza?
It's fine. I wouldn't choose. Like, I wouldn't order a Hawaiian pizza at a restaurant. But like, if it's in front of me, I'll eat it.
Yeah, you won't go out of your way to have like pineapple on your pizza. Yeah, cool. That's fine. I can agree. I can live with that.
You can handle that.
Artist credits. We've been harping on this for ages. I think it's good. I think it's great because physical card games, it's just been a mainstay just ever since they've existed. Having the illustrators credit on them. I mean, an illustrator signs their artwork, so why not in a digital game? Love it.
Yeah.
Russian and Vietnamese language support. More people playing the game. I mean, no one's going to be, complaining about that. Infinity split mod details. So I think that's an interesting one because you get a little logo when you split your infinites, but it doesn't actually tell you what the effect you've got. It doesn't tell you. Yeah, so I think that's really cool. Just give people, especially players that aren't into like getting infinity splits and things like that, they'll be able to actually understand what's going on. And even like people like us, like I see a symbol and I go, I don't know what it is, but it's
me too.
Swirly things around it. It's got sparkly things on it. Cool.
When people talk about splits, the only thing that I can say is, oh yeah, the Inkified one, that's the black and white split, or the gold one, which is literally gold. Everything else they're talking about is just mumbo jumbo to me.
That's right. I agree. They're the only one because they're distinct. I actually can look at it and like pick out what's different about it.
Yeah.
Cool. So a correction on battle mode against friends. We actually discussed this a long time ago when it was announced, but I can't remember if we described it correctly. But basically, so the way it's going to work is you'll be able to verse your friend. So you will either you can create a lobby, create a match, or join a match. The person who creates the match gets a code. They share it with their friend, and then you guys will be in the same lobby to verse each other. They're planning to release it in the next month or two, so we're getting it very soon. Basically, what happens is you both pick a deck, you play with that deck the whole time. You both start with 10 health. So I think we thought you start at 0 and you earn cubes, but basically you and your opponent will have 10 health each. Whatever the stakes of the game are, if it's 2 cubes, 4 cubes, that's how much damage you will take when you lose, and you keep playing until you hit 0 health. So you could like lose 8 cubes right off the bat, then you can only like if your opponent snaps and you play it through and you have to retreat, you're dead. You hit 0 health.
I think the mistake we made is we thought that you could regenerate
health.
That lost health, but it seems like you cannot.
So it says
which is good. I think that you don't want it to go on too long.
That's right. Games could go for hours.
Yeah.
So this is basically you start one cube, 1 damage. If you double down and snap, it'll be 4 damage. You'll do 4 damage to your opponent instead of 2. Or if you retreat early, oh hang on, that's interesting. It says here, if you double down and snap, you'll do 4 damage to your opponent instead of 2, or retreat early and only lose 1 health. Can you get to 8 cubes?
Yeah.
I'd assume so. It doesn't actually say that, but I'd assume if you both snap, it's 8 cubes.
Yeah, surely.
Which would be 8 health. And you play with the same deck. So it's not a like change deck between games, which I think is the right way to do it. Because there's a lot of variance in like each game because you're drawing different cards, different locations. For a competitive like scenario, we were talking about running like tournaments and stuff. I guess you'd probably do like a best of 3. Like, so you're not, because I mean, if you get 2 bad games in a row and you're dead, that's it. Like if it's best of 1,
best of 3,
could be
best
quick.
of 3 would be good where you could also change decks in between.
That's my thing. So like you don't have to play the same deck, or even a lot of other games do this sort of mode where you have 3 decks and your opponent, I mean, I was going to say your opponent can ban a deck, but then they see what cards you have in your deck, which ruins the game. So I guess you just play a game, then you can swap decks next game, and it's whatever you want to play. So you're playing a best of 3 and you can choose what decks. I think that helps. I think that's good for players that test a lot of decks because it means they can play different decks. I think that's just like you're expanding people's knowledge by letting them play whatever deck they want.
Yeah.
I think that would be a cool way to do it. And the only reason is if you do a best of 1 and they play 2 games, that's 6 minutes, 5 minutes, and it's over. Whereas someone else could take, 4, 5, 6 games to get to 0 health. If they're both losing 2 cubes at a time, like 2 health at a time, the game could go on for a while. You don't want people sitting around waiting like, what the heck do I do now? So I guess best of 3 is a way to do it.
Yeah, because I think best of 3 is a good way to do it.
Yeah, I think if like best of 1, you could have some horrible luck, and then that's it. Anyway, back into the changes, all the development roadmap. So name change, you'll be able to change your name if you don't like your current name. Artist credits, when you're looking at a card, you'll be able to tap the nameplate at the top to see artist credits. It's interesting. You're gonna have to actually like tap something. Like I hope there's like a little icon to at least indicate, tap here. And you'll be able to see what Infinity Split mods are on that card. And then, of course, they're adding 2 new languages that you can choose. So that's cool. Then we have in development. So these are things that they're currently like developing, but they're not like they're not coming out in the next month. These are things that I guess are coming after the things we've just mentioned. We've got PC widescreen UI, something I really want. I like to play games on my PC. So, having that widescreen would be cool. Because currently the UI is small.
That does not make a difference to me, but
you only play mobile, so
but I can see how that is extremely annoying.
Good for content creators as well. That it's easier to record on your PC for sure. Smart decks. Now Hearthstone have something similar to this, and I always compare to Hearthstone because it's the easiest one. They let you if you don't add all the cards to your deck, it just says, "Do you want us to auto complete the deck?" So Marvel Snap are introducing something similar. You pick a couple cards you like, and then it'll build the rest of the deck out for you.
That's cool.
Usually things like this don't work amazingly, but I think the fact that you're only playing with 12 cards means this could do a decent job at giving you something not awful. Yeah, it's going to actually be playable on ladder because of the retreat mechanic. The game kind of understands what cards go with other cards. The synergies with the cards can be quite simple. Obviously, when you're deck building, we get more complex synergies. But I mean, if you throw a few move cards in here, let's chuck a bunch of other move cards that help.
Definitely.
Great for like new players or players that aren't, traditional, they don't play a lot of card games. It would be definitely a helpful feature for those people. I mean, most people are still going to copy deck lists online and build deck lists, but I think it's a nice feature to have. An unranked mode. I mean, we've spoken about an unranked mode probably not really working, but it will allow you to play without cubes being on the line. You don't lose rank. But you can still complete your missions. So, I mean, this, I guess, it's a lazy way to complete your missions. If you're sitting on the couch, you don't want to drop your rank. You can just build decks, I guess, to complete your missions, which, I mean, is not a bad thing.
What I would like to see in an unranked mode is access to all the cards, I think.
Which, I mean, is a potential, but I
don't think it's something they're going to do.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's something they're going to do either, but, I mean, it would be... I think the problem with that is if you don't care about ranked ladder, you would just play unranked mode all the time.
Yeah.
And just play with all the cards. So yeah, I don't think that really works.
That just appeals to someone like me. I feel like players like us, because you try out the card in unranked mode.
For sure.
If you feel like you like it, then you spend the tokens on it.
That's right. But then you'll get people that will
it doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't work for
casual
their
players.
business model.
Casual players are going to be like, sweet, I get all the cards for free.
Yep.
And a competitive mode. So we're looking to use battle mode in fun new ways. More details will come in the future as we make progress on this. I would assume this is something similar to, as we've discussed, like a tournament mode. So using the battle mode, like games like Rocket League, there's a few games that have these sort of systems where you can invite a bunch of people, it automatically matches them up against each other, and you play for some prize of some sort. But I mean, you don't even need to have a prize. You can just have a winner. Maybe they get, so Rocket League do a thing where you get like so in Marvel Snap, we have titles. You essentially get like a calling card or like a card or a title to show that you won this tournament for that month or whatever. So, I mean, you could always do things like that.
I think I would want to see something like, I always go back to Clash Royale. They had tournaments where you spend 100 gems, which would, I don't know, equivalent to maybe
let's say a couple
like
hundred. Let's say
not a couple hundred gold, maybe 100 gold.
100 gold,
max,
let's say. Yep.
I was thinking 50 or 100 gold. And then in the end, you would get, say, your 100 gold back plus, I don't know, 500 credits or something.
Okay, yeah. So it's kind of like a
it's not
pay to play.
Like, you don't get cosmetics back. You get, your whatever you paid to enter in plus like some credits.
So
or whatever.
you could potentially, the only issue with that is people who are really good at the game could potentially go infinite and just never. Oh, but you're saying you get credits, not gold. Yeah, got
you're
it.
getting credits,
so you
not
can't
gold,
go infinite,
and you're spending the gold, so you're not getting an unlimited amount of gold.
Got it. Yeah, so you're not actually. So
you can't just keep playing.
Yeah, got it. I guess that's cool. Like that is a way to do it, but I guess it does encourage people to buy gold, which is a good thing for.
I feel like
Marvel
you get
Snap.
Enough. If it's 100 gold to enter, you definitely get enough gold
you're right.
for free by just entering a couple tournaments here and there.
I think the only issue with that is it means you can't just do tournaments all the time. Like if you really love that game mode, it's something that you need to spend money on. But I think of course that's something they could actually do. Cool. I like that you have this like Clash Royale background because it's a mobile game. So it's
a mobile game and it's a 12. I'm pretty sure it's a 12 or an 8 card deck. So it's similar in a few aspects of Marvel Snap. Like completely different game.
But it has very similar like aesthetics because it's a mobile game. The monetization, things like that are very similar.
Yeah.
Cool. And then in concept is the last part of the roadmap. These are things that, they've got ideas about, but they haven't actually started working on yet. But these are their ideas. The guild's social system, we've spoken about this. Really cool, like having like a clan in the game where you can, where we could have the Infinite Snap clan, invite everyone in that listens to the podcast or however many people it'll let you have. You can have a chat system in there. You guys can play games against each other, test decks, stuff like that is really cool. Then you can have events. You can have events where like all the clans, are fighting to get points to get, an avatar or something simple,
That would be cool.
So cool.
I'd want that.
Love it. Infinity rank leaderboard. I think this is just a necessity. Like if you hit infinite rank, what do you play? Well, what is there to play for other than just getting the highest number you can? Whereas if you can see how you rank against other players, I mean that's great for competitive players. They're going to grind out as much as they can. Love that for sure. Collectible emotes and card emojis. So collectible emotes. So we spoke about this. This was always going to be a thing. They gave us a few emotes that you can emote in the game, but it makes sense to just, throw them in bundles, throw them in the season pass. Hey, here's some emotes you can swap out. Change your pointing Spider-Man to, I don't know, whatever you like. It could be Groot doing a backflip.
Once this happens, there's going to be an emote which is like kind of toxic. It's going to be like, a GG emote or something like that. And the whole game is going to crash. Everyone's going to be spamming it because at the moment we don't really have a toxic emote.
We do. We definitely have a toxic emote.
Like what?
The
Thanos snap.
Not even that. Yeah, there's the Thanos snap if you like know you're going to win. But even the like, I think even the like Deadpool like thinking.
Yeah.
Like people do that when they're like, I've got this guy. Like this person cannot beat me.
Yeah.
There definitely is people that use them like in a toxic way, but yeah, I think it's cool. Like if they throw them in bundles and you're paying for them, it becomes like, eh. I mean, that's what Hearthstone do. They sell their Battlegrounds emotes as in bundles. I mean, if they throw them into the season pass, it's cooler than boosters. So I'm here for it. Mythic variants, I don't want to know what these cost. I don't want to know.
I want to know what they cost, but I want to see them because the 1200 gold variants are already like super cool. Some of the ones that I've seen.
So Namor in my token shop today was the Namor variant for like 5,000 tokens or whatever the heck it is.
Is that like the movie variant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that
like
looks cool.
it looks cool, but I'm like, man, tokens. It's like that's such a finite resource. I'm not spending this on variants. That's right.
No way.
Unless I have all the cards, I'm not spending that on variants. Mythic variants, what are we talking here? 2k gold?
Oh yeah.
What does it have to be?
I think so. 2k gold.
1,500?
If these are variants that you can't unlock through caches or anything else other than buying them, that's what they've said. I don't even think 1,500 cuts it. I reckon probably 2k.
Oh man, it's so bad. If that's like we don't actually know, but I think adding rarities to cards is fine. But we're just adding rarities to skins, which I also think is fine. But like, I mean, I guess I was gonna say like with loot box systems, but I guess that's even worse. I guess props for not having loot box systems at least.
I mean, yeah, the Nexus event. RIP.
We don't talk about that anymore. We do not talk about the Nexus events. That has. I mean, I'm just remembering when that was a thing on the podcast. That was it gave us something to talk about for a few weeks, if not longer. But yeah, I think and the argument at the end of the day is always they're variants. You don't have to buy them, so I guess we stop complaining.
Yeah, honestly, I don't have any complaints about how much variants cost because you don't have to buy them. Wait
till the coolest mythic Deadpool variant comes out, and you're just like pulling your wallet out, scanning all your credit cards. Give me the variant,
and I'll buy that one variant.
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's fair.
I don't know.
Chat saying the Miss Marvel thumbs up is the most sarcastic toxic emote when you've made a bad play. Yeah, that's true actually.
I don't know. It is, but
I've been roasted for bad plays for sure.
I think again back to Clash Royale. Far out. They had some of the most toxic emotes that people would just continue to spam.
I feel like a game like that is just a toxic game though.
Yeah,
I played that game a little bit.
Maybe it's just the community that's not as toxic and don't spam the emotes. Like
Marvel Snapper, although it's in its early days, the community is like pretty great so far. And I don't know, like to be fair, to compare it to Hearthstone is interesting, but because Hearthstone's been around way longer. But right now, if you've been following the Hearthstone Twitter community, oh my goodness, a new class came out. Everyone's super excited. It was kind of bad. They needed to buff a ton of things. There's decks running around that are just toxic as. Literally all I see is just nerf this, nerf that. This is the worst meta ever. Nerf this, nerf that. I hate this card. Anyone who plays this card sucks. And I'm like, man, this is just it's not even toxic. It just everyone is angry.
Hating on each other.
I don't see that. Like Leader is running rampant and people are angry about it. But people aren't like, I'm never touching this game. Like I'm putting this game down for a month until they nerf it. People are still pretty chill.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. It's early days. Booster magnets. Now, this to me just sounds like you get something for a card and you get more boosters for that card.
Yeah, that's what I took from it.
If this is something you pay for, like say, hey, pay 100 gold and for the next 48 hours you get more boosters for this card. If that's the way they implement it, bad.
I thought of something like it's a free thing where you turn on a card's booster magnet, and if it's in your deck, you get boosters for that card at the end of the game.
Yeah, because I saw people. There was ways to, I guess, manipulate what cards you got boosters for, and they patched that and got rid of it because I didn't think they were intended. But there was people that were farming, Inkifies and like gold cards using that strategy. So I guess booster magnets would be potentially a way to monetize that.
Yeah, and
or it ends up being a free thing. We don't know.
Yeah, it would be like playing Agatha in your deck. This is what I take from it. It'd be like playing Agatha. Agatha gets all your boosters. I don't know if you've ever played Agatha
Yeah, I
before.
have.
Agatha gets boosters at the end of every single game that she plays in. I
Yeah.
assume like you would just be able to do that, but for any card. I don't know.
I think I'm just really cynical and just like super like pessimistic to all of this sort of stuff. I
Yeah.
feel like I've just been burnt by so many games that I know Second Dinner they've done enough to convince me otherwise, but I still just end up being like super negative about things. I don't know why, guys. I'm sorry. Booster magnets could be a really cool thing. We'll find out. Avatars and titles by deck, neat feature. Like you can change things per deck. Like you can have your Spider-Man avatar with your Spider-Man deck and your Spider-Man title. I mean, that's cool.
I definitely think that
Spider-Man card back.
I want that 100% because
Oh, you
I
can
have
already do that.
Now I've what?
I was like, Spider-Man card back for the deck, and then I'm like, realize you can already do that.
Yeah, card back. But I've got like maybe, I don't know, 10 titles now, and I've got like,
Yeah.
I counted last time, like 60 avatars,
Yeah.
which is insane amount. And I can only use one at a time.
Yeah.
Like if I use them, if I apply them to different decks, I feel like they get more use, which is pretty good.
For sure. And then like even like a random setting where you just get a random title that you have from your pool or a random avatar from your pool. That'd be cool.
I like that.
PC controller support, could not care less about this. I don't know why I would want to play Marvel Snap with a controller. I guess this would be useful for, I guess, people with impairments. So, people that, maybe can't use a mouse and keyboard that well, they can potentially use a controller. I guess, to be fair, controllers are better suited for your hands, so you're less likely to get things like, cramps and things like that.
It's very welcome.
I was going to say,
it's not like a bad thing. You don't want to use it. You don't use it.
Yeah, I looked at it as not being like an important thing, but then now I'm thinking about it. I've had long gaming sessions on my PC where I've switched to a controller because my hands were hurting, and then I've switched to a controller and been really comfortable, like playing shooters and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, Marvel Snap's not like a shooter where keyboard and mouse is different to playing with controller.
Yeah.
So like,
I guess you're just clicking.
Back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just sit back and play on a controller. It's cool.
I guess it's like not like you said, it's not like a bad feature by any means.
Yeah.
Season cache improvements. Who knows what that means? What did Rogertronic say? How do we pronounce cache? Cache. No, cache.
Okay.
It's a cache.
No, we say cache.
We say cache.
The proper pronunciation is cache.
It's cache, but we say cache because we're Australian and we.
Yeah.
I don't want to make us sound dumb because we're not, but we have thick accents and we pronounce things a little bit differently. But
it's a cache.
But we spell a lot of words way smarter than Americans. So no offense. Oh God, we have like a really big US listener base.
There goes all the listeners.
My good American friends from the United States. You got to add some U's to some of your words.
I think you should do the next podcast in a American accent.
Oh no! I don't know about that. Apologies to all my. I feel like watch our listen rate just go down. We're gonna have like 1% of listeners in the US. Now we love all of our US friends. In Australia, we spell a lot of words. Well, what words do we add a U into? It's the British spelling. We spell things like the Brits. So like,
I don't know. I don't know how Americans spell their words, to be honest. I just know they use Z's instead of S's.
So like a word like armor, for instance, ARMOR.
Oh yeah,
we
have
have
mum.
We have a U, but we like armor. We ARMOUR. We chuck U's in everything. Love a U, guys. But no, they're all pronounced the same, so it doesn't matter how we spell them. Season cache, because like cache has an E on the end.
I was trying to explain to Rog. That's why we say cache because that's why we say cache, because when I was in school, I got taught that the E at the end of the word kicks the A and it makes an A sound instead of an at.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but
but
apparently,
I just say cache.
I believe we looked it up and it's like it comes from a French word, so it makes sense.
Anyway.
We don't know what that means. Who knows? Season cache improvements could be anything. Just make them better, I guess. And in-game events is an interesting one because we already have in-game events, but I feel like these will be more involved. Maybe with the guild system, with the clan system, you work together to like complete these in-game events. Who knows?
See what happens. Sounds good.
So that is the development roadmap. So much stuff coming. I would love to see all of this by end of 2023. That would be like freaking amazing. Not putting any pressure on Second Dinner or anything.
I think they'll get, unless they scrap some of the stuff, they realize they don't want to do it. I reckon they'll implement all of this way into 2023, surely.
Wow, that's impressive stuff. Like, you got to remember, they're still making cards. They're still fixing bugs. A lot of work.
Yeah, but I feel like the coming soon stuff, they'll knock out in the next 2 months. The in-development stuff, they'll knock out within the next maybe 6 months, and then in-concept stuff towards the end of next year, maybe.
So, 2023, end of 2023, final episode of 2023, we'll look back at this, and we will see how much of this got done in the year.
I called it.
You're saying all of it?
Yeah.
I like it. I reckon coming soon and in development will be 100% done, and part of in concept will be completed. That's my call.
They gave us a roadmap maybe 3 months ago.
Yep.
And the in concept stuff is like now the coming soon stuff.
Nah, the in concept stuff's still in concept. Mythic variants, guilds, rank leaderboard. Yeah, we'll look at the end of next year. Cool. So that is the development roadmap. And then we also had a new bundle drop this week. Me and you discussed it briefly. You get 3 variants, you get 2 avatars, you get 3,000 credits.
For which one, sorry?
For the new bundle, the Doctor Doom.
The current bundle?
Yeah.
I don't think it has any credits. I think it's just
definitely had credits.
Now.
5,000 gold.
3,000 credits.
Yep.
3 avatars, 3 variants.
And you're paying 5,000 gold for it.
5,000 gold.
I did the math. If you assume that the variants are 700 gold value, which I'm assuming they would consider them 1,200 gold variants, but if I'm considering 700 gold, you lose money on it. Because you're getting 7, 14, 2,100 gold on the variants, and then like 2,000 gold worth of credits.
Yep.
So you're getting, or 2,400 gold worth of credits. So you're getting, like 4,600 value?
Yeah, something like that.
400 gold for 2 avatars. Like, obviously, I'd assume they consider the variants to be worth a lot more, especially since they
don't look like they're worth a lot.
The art's cool,
but to me, they look. I don't really think they're cool variants. The Doctor Doom one's kind of cool, but not really. There's way better ones.
I think if you're a player that's missing Doctor Doom, then the bundles may be good value because you get Doctor Doom instantly.
That's true.
And that's the argument we've spoken about, that you can kind of buy cards if you're in pool 1 and 2. But I mean, that's another discussion entirely. But yeah, bundles out. If you like buying the bundles, you want to buy them, go for your life, enjoy it. The variants are cool. I don't mind them, but yeah. Again, I don't know if there's like some of the other bundles with the collector's tokens that got some value in it. I don't know how much value is in this one. But yeah, Justin, I think it's time for Snap Who, everyone's favorite Marvel Snap quiz. We had a long episode for like a pretty slow news week.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, we definitely had new cards, which is always like, a good conversation. All right. For those who haven't played or listened to Snap Who, I'm going to show Justin a location from Marvel Snap. Justin will have to guess the name of the location and the ability that the location has. Justin's going to describe the location for those listening to the audio version of the podcast. Are you ready, Justin?
I'm ready.
Boom, here we go. Describe it to the listeners.
Ooh, okay. So this location looks like it's set on the sea, in the sea. It's raining, it's dark, looks like nighttime. There's a bunch of waves, and in the middle, kind of in the distance actually, there's kind of like a castle, or like I don't know. It's like a bit of an island. Just looks like it's got walls around it with some high towers. The lights are on, everything's illuminated, but it's in the middle of the ocean.
It's good. Yep, decent description.
Yeah.
Any idea?
Yeah, well, I remember that this location, just the visuals of it, it's a new location. I think like it was a featured location semi-recently. I want to say in the last maybe month or so. It's not an original location.
Okay.
So I kind of remember it. I'm pretty sure this is the Raft.
Okay, and what do you think the ability would be if you are
How am I
correct?
jumping the gun? Is that the raft? Because I definitely feel like it's not an original location.
Okay, and I guess the raft is the raft
The
a newer
raft-
location?
The raft is a newer location. It was the
okay.
featured location a little bit ago, which is kind of when I think this location came out. I'm gonna say it's the raft.
Okay.
And the raft's ability reads something like the first player to fill this location gets a 6 cost card for 0 cost. Something like that.
Okay, so that's your final answer. The raft? The raft and Justin? Justin,
Yeah,
you're back.
sorry.
So the raft?
My internet's a little bit bad. All right, so I'm saying it's the raft.
Definitely?
And yeah, definitely
Okay.
the raft, and the ability is the first player to fill this location gets a free 6 cost card.
Okay, and it costs, so it's free. It costs 0.
Yeah.
Justin, this is in fact the raft.
Yes.
But it reads, first to fill this draws a 6 cost card. It costs 0.
Yes. 2 points.
Well done, Justin.
Yeah, I've got double points for every location you've given me.
We discussed the locations and we kind of said like they'll be kind of difficult. I'm awful at locations. When I see them, I know what they do, but I swear I don't even look at the artwork, which is so silly. I look at card artwork, but I literally just look at the ability, look at the name. Couldn't tell you what it looks like.
Yeah,
but like some of the card artwork's so cool.
Yeah, I've made a bit of a note to like look at the locations, which kind of helps.
So the raft, first to fill this draws a 6 cost card. It costs 0. It was a featured location. I reckon it was like pre-global launch, to be honest. Potentially.
Maybe. I
think it was just before it, to be honest. But cool location. It was fun for that few days. I actually enjoyed it because it was like swarm the board, get that 6 cost card. What the heck is it? Is it like something amazing? Is it terrible? So the raft. Well done, Justin. 2 points on the board. Drugor, our mod is gonna. We got to tally it up because we've gotten a bit slack on it. I had a document running, but we've kind of gotten a bit slack on that. But we'll definitely get the points up for sure.
I think you just you were kind of cut that I was sneaking ahead.
Maybe
so you deleted the document.
He's onto something here. I stopped updating the document when I started losing.
Yeah.
Sure, you heard it here first, guys. Richie is a sore loser.
Definitely.
So, guys, we have had a monumental year with Marvel Snap. I mean, we've been playing for maybe 6 months now.
Yeah, around that.
Like since early, like a few months into the beta. Such an amazing game. Been having a ton of fun of it. If you're listening to the podcast, I'm sure you love Marvel Snap as well. Second Dinner did release 2 cards at once. They are planning to release 1 a week, but they dropped 2 because we've got the holiday break. Second Dinner, the team's getting a break, a well-deserved, well-earned break. Mobile Game of the Year. They've been working on this game for several years, so very glad they're getting a nice break. On that, we're also going to take a break. There's not going to be a ton of Marvel Snap news coming over the next week or two with, Second Dinner being on holidays as well. So we thought this is the perfect time, end of the year, to take a break, spend some time with family, things like that. But if there's any important news that drops, we might record like a quick 5-10 minute episode that will drop. But we're going to take 2 weeks off. So this will be the last episode for the year. So we won't record next Tuesday or the week after. So if I did my math correctly, that would have us come back on the 10th. Tuesday, the 10th of January, we'll record live here on YouTube. And then the episode would drop on Wednesday, the 11th of January. But we'll still be, playing Marvel Snap. We'll still be dropping stuff on the Infinite Snap Pod Twitter. If there is some important news, we'll drop some short episodes just to make sure you guys are staying up to date with all the latest news. Chat, thank you so much for joining us. As always, you guys are the best. Thank you for correcting us on things that we get correct, and we love hearing your opinion. I guess that's it for the year, Justin. Anything to say about, I guess, this year of doing the podcast and playing Marvel Snap?
I just first want to wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, stay safe, have a good holiday. Thank you, Shadow, for hosting the podcast. It has been awesome.
It's been a ton of fun, hey?
It's been heaps of fun. I'm actually not an original member. Started off as a guest and have just I'm like a parasite, like slowly like nesting my way into the podcast. I think we've done a pretty good job. I think you've done a great job. You do all of the background work. And I also just second dinner, like you said, mobile game of the year. The apps just came out. The game's just come out. They've done an awesome job. I hope they continue to do so. And yeah,
it's like I said, monumental effort, well deserved break. You're kind of like Clintar, you know, you just kind of absorbed Tom and just became this symbiote that took over.
Definitely, Tom's in here.
No, Tom's been. I spoke to Tom this week. He's been like super busy, but he's hoping to at least guest star in some episodes next year.
Yep.
It's been fun. Can't wait. I say it's been fun. Like this is the last show ever.
Yeah.
But no, it'd be nice to have.
We'll see you soon, guys.
Yeah, I know. It'd be nice to have a little break. Not that it's like this. The podcast doesn't take that much time out of our lives, which is, you know, it's great. We get to hang out and chat with you guys. You know, even during the week. Through, you know, the different social media platforms. But I think it'll be nice just to, I guess, you know, spend a bit of time with family and friends, hang out, and yeah, like I said, it's going to be a slow news week, I reckon, for the next week or so.
Definitely.
For sure. Guys, peace out. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you in a couple weeks' time. But yes, like I said, we might drop a short episode here and there, depending on how the news goes. Justin, I'll catch you in the new year.
Thank you. You too. Have a safe one.
Catch, guys.
See ya.